The top 5.
Somewhere deep inside this demented mind, there lurks a soft spot.
Mick Foley.
You talk in everyday life as if you were Axl Rose, and you say, please pass me the French fries.
Wrestling cards.
And you live with the consequences, and they won't be good. Bang, bang! Bang, bang!
What's up, wrestling fans, trading card collectors? Welcome to another episode of Wrestling with Cards. Today we're going to be looking at what I think are the top 5 Mick Foley wrestling cards that are out there. And as with any of my top 5 videos, there's plenty in the archives of this channel if you want to go check them out after this video. I've put a playlist together for you, easy to just watch all of them. But these top 5 are always my personal top 5. Not the top 5 most popular or most rare or most sought after, although sometimes that is the case, but just the top 5 cards that I personally connect with and think are the best. The ones that just stand out to me for some reason. But with any of these top 5 videos that I do, we can't start unless we have an honorable mention. We actually have a tie. 2009 TriStar TNA Impact card number 93, and then we have the 2021 Topps Fully Loaded Dude Love Auto. I could not leave these cards off the list, but yet I don't think they ranked above the ones I'm going to talk about, so I just put them as a tie on the honorable mention, but it's for different characteristics. They're a little outside the box of just wrestling cards or wrestling in general that I wanted to bring up and why I can connect with them or see that they're important. First off, the TNA card. Of course, it's Christmas related. How could I not put it on this list? Not to mention this is at a theme park, Knoebels, and I'm a massive theme park fan. Also, as a wrestling card, I kind of like the idea of a wrestler image on a card that's not actually wrestling related. Now, I know some people may hate that, but having this card connecting my love of Christmas, my love of theme parks, and Mick Foley, the deathmatch wrestler, all together, win. Now on to that fully loaded Mick Foley autograph. I do think the card design is cool, the image is cool, it's a great set, great looking signature of course, but the fact that Mick Foley actually took the time on these to do a red heart on the O in love is just a fantastic touch and something that I wish a lot more talent would do with their autos. Take their time, make it look cool, or maybe put some extra inscriptions on there to add to the chase. 2023 WWE Prism card number 55, Mankind, specifically in a blue parallel. Now I've got to admit, I'm just a so-so fan of Mankind, but this image on this card takes me straight back. Back to that weird time period of the WWF, in between the Attitude Era and the New Generation Era, when Mankind was just taking shape, and you can see that in this picture. Also featured in this picture is the famous WWF Big Blue Steel Cage. And I know that a lot of wrestling fans in general have a love-hate relationship with this cage, or with WWF cage matches in general, with the escape to win clause generally the thing that they want to do. But as someone who grew up with the LJN wrestling figures and having endless cage match battles with that giant blue steel cage that came with the ring, and associating that to what I would see on WWF TV, instant win. I did state specifically a blue parallel with this card. That could be the blue shimmer, blue wave, whatever it is you like. And I picked blue because it's that color match with the big blue cage in the image. And it just kind of makes the image pop a little bit more. 2008 Topps WWE Ultimate Rivals card number 77. Mick Foley versus Terry Funk. This is honestly a very boring card. No parallel, no auto, no chromium finish, no sparkly shining stuff, just these two guys. Just a base card. So how did this make my top 5? For what it represents, hardcore wrestling. Terry Funk versus Mick Foley is hardcore wrestling.
Because Terry Funk, you are what the sport is all about.
Dating back to their early days in ECW, dating back to the IWA King of the Death match, Chainsaw Charlie with Cactus Jack, and then of course the photo on this card featuring Mick Foley and Terry Funk at ECW One Night Stand, which in my opinion gave ECW even more juice from a fan base perspective years after that company had already gone away. Obviously, WWE thought that as well because they brought back ECW as a full-time brand. That failed, don't need to talk about all that. But this card image is what that represents. So being a huge ECW fan, and a fan of both of the guys on this card, and the history that they have together, I had to put this card on the top 5 based on the image alone and what it means to professional wrestling history and me. 1999 Comic Images WWF SmackDown Chromium card number 58 and card number 62. I know, we've got another tie, I'm cheating. Hey, but it's my channel. And honestly, here's my logic on this, and why I couldn't really put one of these cards above another. They're from the exact same year and the exact same set, and they feature two images of two of the most iconic, memorable wrestling moments within the Attitude Era. We'll start with card number 58. And first off, I have to point out also, I forgot to mention this, this is one of the first ever chromium products that WWF put out. In fact, I think this may actually be one of the first chromium products ever to come out. Don't at me, 2014 Topps Chrome WWE Truthers. This card features both The Rock and Mankind in their now famous I Quit match from the 1999 Royal Rumble. And also this match and moment was featured on the big screen on the movie Beyond the Mat. Now on to card number 52. Where do we start with this one? I guess let's start with Mr. McMahon. We've got him in the bed there. He's in the hospital. We know later on that there would be a bedpan involved with Steve Austin. But this was at the height of the Mr. McMahon character. And we have kind of a double rookie card, or a double first appearance, if you want to go that far, of Yerpel the Clown and the first appearance on a card of Mr. Sacco. Now, why do both of these cards tie? Because they both capture some very important images and moments in time within wrestling history. Smack dab in the middle of what may have been the most popular wrestling had ever been in pop culture during that Attitude Era, which we may never see that stuff again based on political correctness, based on violence, or any of the other things that somebody could make an argument for why we'll never see another Attitude Era. But during that time, Mick was involved in so many memorable moments. And for me, I think these two cards best represent those things. 1998 Just Toys Bend-Em figure card. I'll never forget that moment when Cactus Jack returned to WWF TV.
Because it's Madison Square Garden and Mrs. Foley's little boy. Bye-bye. Home. Bang, bang!
Of course, as a kid, I remembered his character from WCW and then later on Japan. And when I saw him pop up as one of the faces of Foley gimmicks during the Attitude Era, I just lost it. Especially when that style, that hardcore street fight style, I wouldn't quite say deathmatch, hardcore wrestling was becoming really a thing. It was really popping off during the Attitude Era. But another thing that this card actually ties together for me are wrestling figures and toys. Most of you probably know, but this card was cut out of the back of the Cactus Jack Just Bend-Em figure. So growing up, I loved wrestling figures. I still do to this day, along with tons of other wrestling fans. So if I could tie together my experience as a kid with all of my LJNs and the Hasbros and any of the Bend-Em figures, anything else that I had, having those interpromotional wars that I would set up in my bedroom with all the figures and the rings and stuff, tying that together with my love of cards and the Attitude Era, that's why I had to make this list. 1995 BBM card number 123, Cactus Jack. Probably not a surprise for a lot of you. I think this card kind of tops a lot of people's lists when it comes to Mick Foley cards. It's the first pack-pulled official released trading card of Mick Foley, or Cactus Jack, or however you want to word it. So therefore, a lot of people that are more traditionalist based on the Beckett definition of a rookie card, they see this as the official rookie card. And the image is great. We rarely see images, be it on magazines or on cards anymore, or on DVD covers. They still make DVDs. Regardless, we just don't see a lot of like blood images that used to draw us in at the grocery stores for those magazines or those VHS tapes or whatever it was. Not a lot of blood on the cover of things anymore. So to see Cactus Jack, bang bang, with this card covered in blood, excellent. And then lastly, it kind of represents that IWA King of the Deathmatch tournament that is now famous tape trading lore. And we saw Cactus Jack and Terry Funk at the end in the main event. What is your favorite Mick Foley card? I'd love to hear from you. What do you think about this top 5, any of the cards I've mentioned, or anything else you want to talk about with any of the gimmicks that Mick Foley represented? Or any personal stories you have from him if you've met him at a convention, if you are a super collector, just leave a comment below. Let's get a discussion going. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. And when you're done leaving a comment, make sure to check the links in the show notes for all the other ways you can help show your support for this channel and any of the other content that I put out. Links to Wrestling with Cards on Patreon, where there's even more content you can check out. Links to my eBay store, links to my social platforms, and much more. If you had fun with this video today, if you learned something, if it brought you some value, if it made you laugh, if it brought back nostalgia, hit that subscribe button, give me a like, and tell a friend. Share it with a wrestling fan. Share it with a Mick Foley fan. Share it with any type of collector that you think would enjoy this channel. And until next time, click the videos on the screen for more great wrestling card content on the archives of this channel, and I'll see you there.